I think this is a good simulation for, let's say, that bug out situation. If you were to have to travel a long distance with your family and all the supplies that you need and all the fuel that you need to get there. We've gone almost 2,500 miles and we've been basically unresupplied. We haven't stopped for anything other than what we've brought with us. We haven't had to bring anything. We could bring all the food, we could bring all the fuel, all the things that we need to get us here. Obviously, you'd be trying to dodge as many people as you can and sticking to back roads and avoiding conflicts with other humans as much as possible. But this is a good practice. This is a good scenario training for us and the kids. And this is probably an exaggerated trial run here. 2,500 miles is really far. If you have to go that far after SHTF, in a real bug out situation, it's going to be really tough. You're going to run into problems for sure. So hopefully it's not that big of a deal, but you can potentially carry all the fuel, all the supplies, all the food, and your family with you 2,500 miles. As we travel, we're avoiding campgrounds as much as possible. Well, completely. We're not camping in campgrounds at all. And to do that, you have to head down sometimes just narrow little roads, dirt roads, and sometimes you head off into national forest land. Sometimes not so much, you're just kind of camping out by the roadside, and it may be a non-permissive environment perhaps. And if you're just camping in your vehicle and you're just crawling in the back of the truck, it's pretty easy to do that. If you've got the rooftop tents like the overlanding rigs, or you're setting up tents outside of your vehicle and all that stuff, it attracts a lot more attention. So this keeps us under the radar and allows us to see a lot of things that a lot of people never get to see. We have traveled basically almost 2,500 miles without burning hardly any diesel fuel whatsoever, because my truck burns vegetable oil. Used vegetable oil that's been filtered, processed, and put in my truck. I carried right at 150 total gallons of vegetable oil in my truck. And we're about out, actually. We're gonna have to start burning diesel eventually, but we've gone almost 2,500 miles, which is really cool. And we've packed up everything that we need so we can camp out wherever. I don't like campgrounds. I don't like camping near other people. So we find places like this that are just out kind of in the middle of nowhere, but near really cool places like that. In this compartment, I keep my basic camp stuff, some drinking water, cooking supplies, water bottles, first aid kit, and things of that nature. Wet wipes, that's a big one. If you're out on the road or you're just camping, you're in some sort of austere conditions for a while and you can't have a shower, man, the wet wipes are the ticket. But we've been finding creeks and rivers and stuff, and we've stayed at friends' houses and things of that nature on our trip so we can get cleaned up. But the wet wipes is a win. Anyway, we're going to collect some firewood over here from this big brush pile that someone has scooped up over here, thankfully. It's all pine, unfortunately, but it's pretty much all that's here, except looks like maybe, what are those, quaking aspens? Quaking aspens, and then all kinds of various sorts of pine type trees, firs and things of that nature. So not ideal for cooking, but it's what we've got, so we're going to make it. The whole point of this trip is to have a grand adventure with the family, so we could have memories that will last a lifetime, and hopefully they'll remember a lot of these things and be telling their kids about it, and be inspired to take their kids on a trip like this one day. I think that's my big goal, and hopefully we learn something along the way. Like, for example, we've been learning a lot about the wild medicinal plants and edible plants, not so much edibles, but a lot of medicinal plants that are in the areas that we've been traveling through. So as we go, my wife has been spotting, various different color flowers and whatnot, and different looking plants. And then we've been doing some research, positively identifying it, obviously, and then doing research on its possible medicinal benefits. Some are fairly useless, but you'd be surprised at how many of the wild plants in every area that you are have medicinal benefits. Sagebrush, for example, is one of the very, very useful wild medicinals of the West. It's probably the most common plant. It's everywhere. Every flat piece of ground, well, not even flat pieces of ground, but all the deserts up here, even in the higher elevations, the sagebrush is just everywhere. And it's been used for all sorts of things. From the natives have used it for malaria fever. They've used it for athlete's foot. It's been used for chest colds, all sorts of natural remedies or uses for the sagebrush. And I'm taking advantage of it right now and treating some fungal issues. My wife a few years back had strep throat and had developed a peritonsillar abscess, a very big infection in her throat, and she treated it with sagebrush. She gargled with it, and it was able to alleviate some of the swelling, and eventually, very disgustingly, made that abscess burst and eliminated her issue. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you leave a comment. Any comment will do. Tell me what you think about this scenario, this situation that I'm doing with my family, the non-permissive camping, the traveling across the country with all the supplies that you should need. See you next time.